father's, his family's business, he wouldn't have had the time, he wouldn't have had the ability to be able to do the ministry and have the impact in that 3-year ministry that he was able to have. See, we see generosity ushering Jesus into full-time ministry. Here's another one. Is again, this very story that we just read, a new donkey ushering Jesus into this place of his suffering. Again, it was this act of generosity that Jesus would ride into the city on. How about this later on in the Passion Week? We find this scene where Mary sort of busts in the doors and she pours this expensive perfume, this expensive oil over the feet of Jesus. And she did that. In doing that, really what she was doing was she was preparing Jesus for his ultimate death. There was this those oils, those spices, they were what people would put on a dead body when they were getting ready before they would put them into a tomb. And so we see Mary's oil ushering Jesus into preparation for his death and burial. Even after he dies on the cross, check this out again, generosity at play here. We see Joseph of Arimathea going to Pilate, asking for the body of Jesus, that he'd be able to put him in a tomb that Joseph owned. A tomb, interesting enough, that nobody else had ever laid in or been placed in before. Again, Jesus, this need to go first, right? But again, we see Joseph's tomb usher Jesus into the site of his resurrection. Why do I share that? It's simply this. We see an act of generosity always preceding a move of God. We see an act of generosity always preceding a move of God. See, listen, I think, and this is why I share this, especially on this week, this Passion Week, as we start to move to Good Fridays, we start to move to Easter. I believe God wants to move in the city in miraculous ways. But you know how it's going to happen? It's going to happen through individuals in this church body with the willingness and the courage to take a step of generosity. To have the courage to get out of their comfort zone, to walk in generosity. And I actually want to encourage you guys, I want to challenge you guys, actually specifically in 2 ways this week, to really walk out generosity. And the first way is this, is simply to give an invitation. To give an invitation. Talking about generosity, listen, there's no greater act of generosity than what Jesus did for us on the cross.
Amen.
And then listen, you and I have an opportunity to invite them to Good Friday, to invite them to Easter, our friend, our coworker, our neighbor, to hear a message of God's incredible generosity and love and grace and mercy. It's an invitation that can literally change their life for eternity.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to be willing to step out of what's convenient. You're going to actually have to give them a call. You're actually going to have to invite them to come and be a part. Maybe it's even inviting them to, hey, you know what, I'll drive you, I'll bring you, but you've got to be here. It's giving an invite. But then I want to also challenge you one more thing, though, too. It's not just challenge you to give an invite, but I want to challenge you to give of one thing in your life that costs you something this week. One thing in your life that costs you something this week. Again, maybe it's giving of your time. Maybe it's giving of your expertise to help a neighbor out. Giving of your resources. Maybe it's buying a stranger's meal or buying their coffee. But I want to challenge you to give in a way that actually costs you something. And when I say this, I'm not talking about, again, this is not like goodwill giving. Goodwill giving, it's like giving away all the stuff you really don't want in anyway, which typically ends up being my stuff in our family. But something that costs you something, that is a little uncomfortable. Maybe it costs you a little bit of time. It costs you some resources. It costs you something. But listen, I'm telling you, if you'll have the courage to step out in generosity this week, listen, I believe that God is going to show up in miraculous ways this Easter in your life. Listen, that act of generosity, you never know how God's going to use it. You never know how God's going to show up on the heels of that act of generosity. It might be the very thing that knocks down the walls in a person's life that has been keeping them from hearing the gospel, from really accepting an invite even to come to church. Because maybe in their mind, they just always thought, oh, the churches, they just want my money. They just want to take it. Hey, listen, your act of generosity could be the very thing that opens up a door for God to change their life for eternity. So I want to challenge you. I want to pray for you tonight and really